What's up YouTube, Dale here from Zephyr, and today I am bringing you the second deck from Valiant Smashers, the Memento clan. Now this of course is another brand new art type from that side set, and this one revolves around a massive boss monster, but when you look at all of the other cards they will look incredibly familiar as they are technically bone creature alternatives to some very old original artwork from Yu-Gi-Oh! Back in the day as well. Now, in my opinion, this looks the best of all of them, and you can probably pick up a core from anywhere between £50 to £60 and gives you everything you need. It's then everything else that you can add to it. So with all of that out of the way, please smash that like button, hit that notification bell, and subscribe. I will also show you a combo at the end of the video so you know exactly what this deck does. So with all of that out of the way, we're going to dive headfirst into the profile and show you exactly what we got. So we start off by playing one of the main boss monster, the Combined Creation. You can play two if you want to, and it is relatively cheap, so there's no reason not to have a second, just in case that particular playstyle meets your fancy. It cannot be normal summon to set, and it must be special summon from your hand or graveyard by shuffling 5 other Memento monsters with different names from your hand and or graveyard into the deck or extra deck. The fact it says extra deck to me means that we may be getting more future support that will involve the extra deck as well. They have to have different names as well, which is very, very restrictive, which is a bit of a downside, but you know, you roll with it. While you control no other monster, this card can attack your opponent's monster. Each of your opponent's monsters you control once each. Once per turn, if your opponent activates a card or effect, etc. in a damage state, you get to special summon a Memento monster from your hand or graveyard. Now, obviously, it does restrict itself by saying hand and graveyard rather than from the deck, which is something you probably want a bit more with this deck. But the fact of the matter is, it is an insane boss monster. It can board clear if it wants to. And when you combo it off with the trap card, the Memento or Mentalian Cranium Burst, you actually end up getting 5 negates, and we'll talk about this a little bit later on. The most important card, which is the ultra rare of the set, another ultra rare for this deck, is the Mentalian Anguish. So if it is normal or special, you get to add 1 Memento monster from your deck to the hand, except itself, and you get to target a level 2 or lower Memento monster in your graveyard. Destroy 1 Memento monster you control, and if you do, special summon that target monster. So this allows you to trigger off, because what you're going to end up using is you're going to be utilizing the other Memento main monster, and that is of course Dark Blade. So if this card is normal or special, you get to discard a Memento card, then target 1 spell or trap your opponent controls, destroy it. During your main phase, you can destroy 1 Memento monster you control, and if you do, you special summon a level 3 or lower Memento monster from your deck. So the idea is you're constantly going to want to be special summoning Mementos from the deck, putting them into the graveyard, and to get enough to get into your big boss monster. Now, the best thing about these cards is that they don't destroy as cost. If they destroyed as cost, that would incredibly suck, because then it means you'd go destroy, and your opponent goes ash. So with these ones, you activate the effect, and then you wait for your opponent response. No response, you destroy it, and then send and do everything else you need to. We're then also playing triple of the Key Mace. So this one is during your opponent's main phase. If you control the Combined Creation, you gain a quick effect to discard this card to target a face-up monster your opponent controls and take control of it until the end phase. During your main phase, you get to destroy a Memento monster you control, and if you do, add a Memento monster from your deck, a Memento card from your deck to the hand, except itself. Only use each effect once per turn, so you do get the ability for a nice little bit of a snatch steal. And then the final one that is also a super rare in this set, so these did get the lower end of the rarities in comparison. I think they got 3 ultra rares, and only 2 of them you play at 3, the rest you can play at 1 or 2. So then the last one is the I'm going to get this so wrong, Tatsu no Toshigo, I believe. So this one is if you do control any face-up monsters other than Memento monsters, you get to special summon this card from the hand. During your main phase, you get to destroy a Memento monster you control and send any number of Memento monsters with different names from your deck to the graveyard whose total levels are less than or equal to that destroyed monster's original level. So that's how you're going to be able to flood the graveyard, because when you see everything, you've got Mace, which is a 1, the Tatsu is a level 5, Dark Blade is a 4, Witch is a 3, and then you play Goblin, which is a 1, and you also play Horned Dragon, which is an 8. So when you look at these, we also do get a brand new one, which is the Karibo, which doesn't come out until Phantom Nightmare, which is in January. So the Goblin has the effect that during the main phase, if you control the Combined Creation, you gain a quick effect to discard this card, and for the rest of the turn, your opponent cannot target Memento monsters you control with card effects. During your main phase, you get to destroy one Memento monster you control, and if you do, send up to 2 Memento cards with different names from each other from the deck to the graveyard. So again, you can kind of see the idea behind this is that when you're destroying something with Witch to summon one from the deck, or Dark Blade, Goblin then gets the effect to then ditch itself off and then send the combined creation, and that's how you're putting like 3 or 4 or building up to having 5 different ones within the graveyard. Then the Horned Dragon is if you have 3 or more Memento monsters with different names in your graveyard, you get to special summon this card from the hand. You can only special summon it once per turn this way. If this card on the field is destroyed by card effect, you can target 3 face-up cards on the field, including a Memento card you control, destroy them. You can only use each effect once per turn, so as you can see why you're playing these guys at 1 and the rest are all at 3. And then, of course, for the spells, we do get Memento Bone Party. I love the artwork on this one. And that's what I think about, like, this one definitely has the best artwork of all 3 of the art types, in my opinion. So you destroy 1 Memento monster you can in your hand or face up on the field as a quick effect. Take 1 Memento monster from your deck with a different name and either add it to the hand or special summon it in defense. During the main phase, you can banish this card from the graveyard to target a Memento monster you control. If it attacks a defensive monster, this turn inflict piercing battle damage to your opponent. You can only use each effect once per turn. Now, obviously, the idea behind this is if you're going second and you're going to go push for an OTK, keep in mind that this one can attack all your opponent's monsters once each. So then when you're giving it piercing damage, it does help you kind of complete the OTK. We've then got 3 of the field spell. Now, I'm still playing around with this, whether I want to add terraforming in, whether I want to play 2 and terraforming. I'm not completely sure as of yet. But if your Memento monster battles, your opponent cannot activate any spell or trap cards until the end of the damage step. If a monster or monsters you control is destroyed by battle or card effect, target one of those monsters and special summon a Memento monster with a lower level from your hand or graveyard. You can only use this effect once per turn, and then once per turn during your end phase, you get to target a Memento spell or trap in your graveyard and reset it. So you're good to rock and roll. Then for the final 2 cards we play is the 1 Fracture Dance. So if you control a Memento monster, you target 1 card on the field, destroy it. Then if you control Memento combined creation, you can destroy 1 more card. So it's basically a 2 for 1 destruction effect. And then when an attack is declared involving your Memento monster and an opponent's monster, you get to banish this card from the graveyard. All monsters your opponent currently controls lose 1,000 attack until the end of this turn. You can only use each effect once per turn. So very important on that one as well. So then carrying on, when we move into the other trap card, now this is where it gets really kind of cool. So this is the Cranium Burst. Continuous trap card. While you control a Memento monster, your opponent monsters that can attack must attack the Memento monster you control with the highest attack. Their choice if tied. When your opponent activates a monster effect on the field, except during a damage step, you get to target a Memento combined creation you control. It loses exactly 1,000 attack, and if it does, you negate the activated effect. You can only activate this effect of the Cranium Burst once per chain. So it's basically giving you a 5k Appaloosa that you can be utilized while sitting in defense. After that, that's all the Memento cards, 22 cards there. You then have the open space to be as creative or flexible as you want. There is options to play stuff like the Dogmaticas because the extra deck is so flexible. You could play Pot of Extravagance, Pot of Prosperity. Really is up to you and your personal playstyle. I've gone with the hand trap lineup just so you can kind of see what you could add into it, alongside some board breakers as well. So Ashes, Imperms, Prosperities, Talents, Droplets, Eclipses, and then main deck in the Tikaboo. But of course, you don't have to main deck the Tikaboo. The fact of the matter is, this is just completely 18 cards, or technically this is 19 because this is a 41 card deck because I am never that good to keeping stuff at 40. But as you can see, you play so many different ones. You've got Fiends, the Tatsu is a beast, you've then got Fairy, you've got Warrior, you've got Spellcaster, and then your big boss monster is a Worm. So you are not really restricting yourself to any one particular type, which is why Tikaboo can be mained if you want to, but if it doesn't suit your playstyle, you can very easily put in other cards you want to. Like I said, you could have the option for Super Polys. You do have to be careful by putting other monsters to your board, stuff like Fenris, because then it does mean that you don't get to attack all of your opponent's monsters, and it means the Tatsu cannot summon itself. That's where Droplet becomes a little bit more important because you can clear the board off of the cards that are not Mementos, negate your opponent's effects, halve their attacks, and then you can swing in and do everything you need to. So that's it for the main deck. Moving on to the extra deck, I'm just going to show you some cards that you can play because the extra deck is so flexible. Like I said, that's where you can play in the Dear Servant and the Dogmatica package with punishment. You play more notices. You then have targets to even play the Winder package if you want to, which for those of you that are unfamiliar, you activate in a Dear Servant, you send Shaddoll App Cologne, you search out the Shaddoll Schism. You then discard another card, which obviously can be any of your Memento monsters. You then have the ability of activating that trap card during your opponent's turn, banishing the app clone you sent off of Nadir Servant, and then any Dark monster to make Winder. And then basically what your end board is going to be is Winder, a 5k boss monster in attack and defense, and then a trap card that's constantly going to be able to weaken that while negating your opponent's monster's effect. So then it means that they have to attack that guy, so it kind of protects your Winder all out. So for the extra deck, you got the one Sky Slayer just to kind of upgrade your board if you need to. And then working back, you got Underworld Goddess, Avramax, Axis Code, Griffin, Unicorn, Selene, Azalea, Cerberus, Phoenix, IP, the Dark Charmer, SP Little Knight, Relinquish Anima, Link Karibo. Like, these are all flex spots. You don't have to play any single one of these that I've shown you. You don't have to play, you could play like multiples of all of them if you wanted to narrow it down and play something like Extrav. That's what makes this like extra deck so unimportant, basically. It gives you so much freedom and flexibility, which is why the Deer package works, it's why the Super Poly package works, and then you just play loads of generic Link monsters. So it really is up to you on how you want to do it. So, with all of that out of the way, I'm now going to show you the 1.5 card combo that allows you to get the big boss monster plus the trap card, because that is your ideal end, just being able to negate your opponent 5 times, or around that number. So we're going to reset and show you the combo now. So the 2-card combo is of course the Field Spell plus Darkblade. There is a 1-card combo as well, but it doesn't end as as powerful as this one. The idea is that this can become very flexible. You do have other access to cards like this. You've got obviously your Witch if you go through that route, so your Witch plus the Field Spell will still get you the same outcome. The idea is you're trying to pump your extra deck or your graveyard full of different monsters to go from there. So you're going to start off by activating the Field Spell, normal summon the Darkblade. So if it's normal special, you get to discard a Memento card to target a spell, track your opponent controls and destroy it if you're going second. But what you're going to want to use is the during the main phase effect to destroy a Memento card you control and special summon a level 3 or lower. So you're going to destroy itself, you're going to summon out the Witch. Witch on normal or special allows you to add a Memento monster from the deck to the hand. So you're going to add the Tatsu. And then what you're going to be able to do for off the back of this is Tatsu, as long as you control a Memento monster, is you can special summon it down. Great synergy, yes. You can then use this effect to tribute itself, as it is a level 5, to put a level 1 mace and a level 1 goblin into the graveyard. The reason you don't want the tribute off the Witch is you are going to want to use Witch's effect to bring back the mace and or the goblin at certain points as well. You're going to trigger off the Field Spell. The Field Spell then gives you the ability that if a monster or monster you control is destroyed by battle or card effect, you can target one of those monsters, which will of course be the Tatsu, to special summon a Memento monster with a lower level from the hand or graveyard. So you're going to want to bring back the mace. The reason you're going to want to do that is you'll then be able to use Mace's effect, is that it allows you to destroy a Memento monster you control, being itself, and if you do add a Memento card from the deck to the hand, so you're going to go straight for your Cranium Burst. Now you're going to want to use your main phase effect of the Angie Witch, and this is going to allow you to target a level 2 or lower Memento in your graveyard, destroy a Memento monster you control, and if you do, special summon that target. So you're going to destroy itself, and you're going to special summon out the Goblin. You're then going to use Goblin's effect to tribute itself off, and that will then allow you to send up to 2 Memento cards with different names from each other from the deck to the graveyard. So you're going to send your Combined Creation, and you're then going to send your Momentalon Fracture Dance. In doing so, you'll see that you can now summon out your big boss monster of the Combined Creation, because you've got Goblin, Witch, Mace, Darkblade, and of course the Tatsu. They all go back into the deck. And then during the end phase, you also get to use the effect of the Field Spell to target a Memento spell and trap in your graveyard and set it. So now what you're ending or passing your turn to here is you've got 5 negates off of the back of the Cranium Burst, and your opponent must attack this guy where able. You also have the ability, because you control a Memento monster, target a card on the field and destroy it, and because you control the Combined Creation, you get to destroy an additional card on the field as well. So you get to destroy 2, and then it also means that during the battle phase you get to banish this, and then all of your opponent's monsters lose 1,000 attacks. So it makes this even harder to kind of just deal with outright. Now, obviously, you still have 3 more cards, whether that be more control cards, whether that be more back row, more consistency cards, you name it, you have the ability to do pretty much anything and everything you need from that starting point. So I hope this has given you a couple of insights into the deck, how it works, how it's best operated. Like I said, there is a 1-card combo that basically just leads you to this. It means you don't rely on bringing back Mace and everything else to get you your trap cards. You just kind of flood your graveyard full of your mementos and then build up from there. Like I said, I really do love the artwork on this deck. I think the artwork looks absolutely amazing, and I love the fact that they are bone creatures of classic Yu-Gi-Oh cards. That's just what makes it even better. I do feel that it is one of the cheaper decks around. I feel that the Valmonicas, which is the third art type, is like £40, and I feel that this is the next one at £60, and then of course the Centurions are crazy expensive. But I do like the idea behind this. I'm not saying it is the best deck of all of them. I think it looks the best. I feel that playability is very narrow, very linear, and it can be interrupted quite a few times in order to stop getting it to where it needs to go or where it wants to go. But the best thing, quite like the Centurions, is because it takes up so little space of an actual main deck, it gives you at least half a deck to play around with in order to provide more consistent factors, more board breakers, more control cards. It really does allow you to have quite a nice amount of creativity and flexibility. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share. Till next time, as absolutely always, stay safe and of course, happy dueling.